Hi, my name is Ned Lazaro, and I'm the curator of textiles here at Historic Deerfield. Today we are taking you behind the scenes and showing you what it's like to photograph a dressed mannequin with historic clothing from the collection. I'm here with our photographer and visual resource manager, Penny Leveritt.
Hello. As Ned noted, I'm Penny Leveritt. I'm the Visual Resources Manager and photographer. And we're going to work on this. This is a collaborative effort. Photographing garments involves Ned doing the fabulous dressing of the mannequin to the time period that is appropriate and the body shape that's appropriate. There's a lot of research involved with that. And then we bring it in here and we work on it together. I'll light it and then we adjust and tweak and then come up with the final photograph that then gets edited. So yeah, definitely a collaborative effort.
So can you tell us a little bit about this dress?
Sure. This is an 18th century gown known as a robe à la française, sometimes also known as a sackback gown. It dates to about the late 1760s, and much of its construction is original, which is terrific. So often 18th century clothing has been altered one or more times over its long life. So this is a special garment in the collection that, oddly enough, has never had good photography on it. So we had a custom form made for it by Benchmark Studios, and so we dressed it late last week and are going to photograph it this week. The gown is probably French. It was acquired by the museum founders by a French dealer, which may or may not mean that it is French itself, but evidence suggests that it could be French. And it's a patterned silk known as a brocaded silk, drawing woven, weft patterned silk known as a brocade, with a large floral motif from about the 1760s. As Penny said, it's truly collaborative. I spend a lot of time carefully dressing historic garments from the collection when we're doing photography. And I get it as good and as safely as I can get it. And then we bring it into the studio, and then we've got another pair of eyes that look it over and have usually some great suggestions.
Yeah, so my first step once it comes in is to just give it just a little bit of light, because the light in here will really change it. What it looks like in the workroom where Ned works on it is one thing, and it looks fabulous. And then it comes in here and looks fabulous also, but then the light is a little less forgiving in here, and so things just kind of show up, or shadows might show up where you don't want them. So first step is just to do some overall lighting. And I'll start that.
I'm trying to arrange these.
Sure.
how we talked about.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll put the big lights kind of far from a garment in particular. I'm going for a little dramatic lighting for this one. It's a fancy gown, All right, now I'm going to turn off the room lights. All right, let's see. Sometimes I like to have light a little one-sided. It gives that dramatic sort of light dark look.
sometimes too, Penny will light the same view two different ways. Sometimes she'll do what we call dramatic lighting. That's really eye-catching. It's a little more like a raking light. And then sometimes the light will be a little more even just for sort of basic registration images or images that we're showing students or a class when we really want to show them the details of the clothing construction and we care less about the sort of dramatic effect for those times.
I'm thinking just a slight angle for the shot.
Yes,
A little
great,
bit.
great.
I'm gonna come see the perspective.
Okay, so, yep, that's great. Yes, yes.
That way we can see the waist of their.
Yep, it still shows everything, but it's a little more maybe interesting too. Yeah, okay.
Right. A little more. Yeah. All right, let's see. Now the inspection. I'm thinking maybe that little pointy bit on the training is kind of jarring.
So maybe make it a little more.
A little more. We tried for the oops, it's art, the nonchalance. She's just walked into a room.
It's a lot of work to be nonchalant.
It really is. Oh, yeah.
And we've got, I think you were talking about the pattern here.
Yeah. I mean, Ned, you can talk about the mirroring, what they were trying for.
Yeah, so one of the great features of this gown is that it's the robe itself is largely unaltered. So that means they were able to take whole widths of unmade fabric and make a proper sack-back gown or robe à la française. So hallmark of this kind of robe is double box pleats on either side of the center back. And so because the fabric was sort of new to start with, they had enough fabric to do those double box pleats in a way where the pattern is symmetrical on either side. So that's a stunning visual detail when it can happen. It takes a lot more fabric to be able to do those double box pleats. And fabric was expensive in the 18th century, so being able to have that was a sign that your garment was not altered or pieced. And Penny, in her detailed way, completely noticed that symmetricality of the design and wanted to highlight it in some of the shots that we took.
I wonder if we could just
Flatten
a little, if possible.
it.
The garment doesn't always cooperate because, of course, it's been living its life for many, many years, and doesn't always want to go back. We don't want to force it to anything, So sometimes its pleats or its time has made its own pleats, or I'm not saying that well, but you know what I mean.
No, I totally do.
Yeah. So we have to be safe too. We can't, force it.
Exactly.
We have to strike a balance. Okay, I like this kind of funny undulation. That's better.
Yeah, it's not. It's doing a little bit of wants to be.
Probably seems super picky, all the things we're doing, but it really it makes a difference in the final image for sure. what do you think of that? I'm a taskmaster. Of course, one move of something just undid something else we worked, Ned worked on. Unfortunately.
But it's good. It's good. Between the two of us.
Okay, let's step back from it, see what you think.
Let's see more. To me, at least.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, let's try it. Ready? Yeah. So you see, we try. Whoop, there it is. Always does that. Where's the button? There we go. Trying for the drama. Might be a little too much though. So I think I want to work on that a little bit. Sometimes I like to add a little hair light, if you will, although this doesn't have hair. And that's back here. Turn that on.
What does that do, Penny?
Well, take a look at take a look here. And I'll do before and after, and you'll see. Maybe, I think it'll show up. So.
Yep.
Sort of a little highlight.
Nice.
Of course, what this also does is give me some lens flare. So, I have to put on a little attachment here.
And what does that do, the attachment?
I'll show you. So, like if I don't use this, I imagine what's going to happen is a lens flare. There'll be this sort of overblown spot. Let's see. Yeah, you can see it there. That should be darker. It's kind of, the light is affecting the lens. So, try this. If that helps. Yes. Do before after. If you like. Subtle, but it's there. There's the lens flare. Not. Can you take a look at it?
Okay. Nice. Nice. So it seems to add some dimensionality to it, maybe?
The light of,
Yeah.
It adds a little outline.
Okay.
Just a hair of an outline.
Yeah.
I'll show you before.
Okay.
Oh, that was the lens flare one.
Yeah.
And then that way it just disappears in this one.
Yes.
But now it's
Perfect.
just, and then in the skirt.
Yeah. That's great.
Okay.
I
Take a
love
look. Just things that you did.
I love it. What we also try to do, since it's so much work to mount clothing and to get it in the studio, we try to do all our photographs that we could ever possibly want for a piece of clothing before it goes out and leaves the studio and goes into the gallery or back into storage. So Penny does these fabulous overalls, and she does amazing details as well.
Well, thank you. Let me take a look at it again. I think I put this one better. So here's what I just did.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
See this? I just
Yeah.
wasn't crazy about that.
Yeah.
Background was just kind of like, I don't know.
Man.
So, oh yeah. All right, that's before. This is kind of the area that's changing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just softer, a softer
Softer.
gradation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, it does get darker there, but I don't think that's an issue.
Nope. No, I don't either, because you can still see it.
Yeah. I like.
I like it. It's not as harsh. I totally like it. Yep.
I'm often finding the lights in the background and like trying to avoid a hard line of, you know, dark and then gray. You know, it's like trying to make it subtle. So.
Yeah, no, just working with you just makes me realize how complicated it is, and how much is so involved in it, and then how just the littlest change in light, either amount or direction,
Yes.
can really make or break it,
Totally.
for sure.
So let's take a look again, and we might have it, but I want your thoughts.
And Laura, we can some of the stills we can give you the after,
Mhm.
but also some of the details too. So.
And then if you need to look again, just press that a little bit.
Okay. So that's the one we're going with. Oops. Okay.
So,
I love it. I love it.
I mean, she looks like she's kind of in a dark room, maybe there's some candlelight. I think that's kind of what we're going for with a
Mhm.
really beautiful gown
Mhm.
like this.
Sorry. Mm-hmm. Can you say that again, Penny? I put my arm in
Oh, no. I think, you know, we're going for, because a lot of these garments, and Ned can speak better to this, is were meant to have some sort of sheen to them where if they're in a candlelit room, it just kind of, you know, twinkles, you know? And so we're trying to get that effect in the studio, as if maybe it's a candlelit room. And then I really like the dramatic lighting. Yeah. I think it's good for the overall. I just think this one thing is cool, Lori. If you
Yeah.
want to come up, we were talking about, and I'll probably take a detail of this. Look at how this makes this circle.
That's really
Wow,
neat.
Penny, I
It's like a
didn't
wreath.
notice that. That's insane.
Isn't that cool?
That is insane.
So I love details, and so that's the kind of thing that, you know, just for me, it's like, oh yeah, I got to get that.
And would you probably take some pictures of the pattern, obviously?
Yes, I think once and it seems like we are thinking our overall this back is good. What I might do is put like a soft covered board gently underneath and try to get the repeat of the fabric. And I can't explain repeat, but Ned probably can. Yeah, to get it sort of flat, but carefully. You have to treat these things gently. You know, several views, at least 30 overall views. We tend to, for these shots, you know, the ones that might end up in a magazine or in one of our publications, to do slight angles. You know, I can't help but think of the DMV. You know, you're like, like no, can we just try for a little,
Something a little more flattering.
Yeah, exactly. So we might do this with a slight angle and maybe an angle front. But as Ned referred to, we also do these more informational shots where the lighting might be more even, and it might just be straight on or, you know, a straight profile.
And when you say informational, it's more for if you're studying the garment, right? For
Exactly.
scholars and things like that.
Exactly. If you're trying to explain to somebody how a robe à la française was made, well, the dramatic effect, dramatic lighting might make it look sexier. It may omit some key pieces of information that
Yeah.
you want students or the public to understand.